Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back on the bridge, and today, yes, it is Star Trek Day on Star Trek Online. So, as we covered in our previous video, we knew that this was coming. There's going to be a sort of space museum, and this year there's actually some additions, but what we want to do is kind of do a fun tribute to Star Trek Day, taking inspiration not only from the ships on display, but also, just like our previous TLIS build, sort of take inspiration from certain scenes from the series and then sort of build around that for just a fun pew-pew. So what we'll do, captains, is we'll go over Star Trek Day, the message that you get when you first enter the social zone, go over the actual hail when you do hail the ship in question, and of course, as you see, captains, we are going to start where it all started, but we'll get into that later. Go over the build and then actually show, of course, where we're taking inspiration from the build from. So here we go. Now, when you first are here, you are going to actually get a prompt here that you can click on, which is a message from President Okeg. So let's click on that.
Citizens of the Federation and her allies, it is my honor to introduce the official Starfleet ships of the Line Museum. This undertaking, made possible by the help of so many of you, is to educate the galaxy at large about the history of some of the greatest ships to serve in Starfleet, and allow you to look at full-sized replicas of the ships, lovingly recreated and restored. Please, take your time and peruse this look back at our history. I know that I, myself, have already spent several days staring in wonder at these pieces of the past, preserved and revived for this day. After one standard Earth Day, the exhibit will move to several museums and galleries around the galaxy, but it will be visible once a year above Earth Space Dock and Deep Space Nine on this most important date.
There you go, Captain. So again, kind of a cool little message there when you first get this. Now, we've had this museum for some years now, and of course, to their new captains here, this is something that is now becoming a yearly thing, which is awesome. Like I said, there's some additions, but we'll get to that. So the purpose of this is going to be a series. What our purpose is to go every day from the beginning to the end and just do a build tributing to that ship. And of course, today we're going to start with the USS Enterprise NCC 1701. So captains, I know a lot of you grew up with this ship. Personally, I did not grow up in TOS. I came into TNG, but it doesn't mean that I don't respect the OG. So here we go. Let's hail the Enterprise.
Space, the final frontier.
Oof. So the most celebrated starship of her time, the Constitution-class Enterprise, had over 40 years in service to Starfleet. Most of that time, including her celebrated 5-year mission from 2265 to 2270, was under the command of James T. Kirk. Besides her initial mission goals of seeking out new life and new civilizations, the Enterprise assisted many in need throughout the galaxy and defended the Federation from threats such as Khan Noonien Singh. In her final fight, she was commandeered from Starfleet by her most famous captain and crew before being destroyed over the Genesis planet. Notable crew members: so James T. Kirk, Spock, Leonard Nimoy, Montgomery Scott, Hikaru Sulu, Nyota Uhura, Pavel Chekhov. Star Trek aired from 8 September 1966 to 3rd June 1969, so 79 episodes. Without the original series, none of us would be here today. 100%, and that's why I respect the TOS. The iconic show aired for just 3 seasons in the late 1960s, having been saved from cancellation several times by fan campaigns. However, when the show moved to syndication, its popularity exploded, leading to 6 feature films with the original cast. The show has inspired people from all walks of life, including scientists, who cite Star Trek as the inspiration for inventions like the cell phone. So, again, just a little cool little nugget here. Appreciated very much so. See a nice little shot there of the Enterprise. And of course, Captains, this is what we're going to be working with today. Now, before we go over the build, Captains, we will show you where we're taking inspiration from. It's from 2 clips. Having said that, we're just going to show the clips of just 2 things that inspired us to do this build. So here's the first one. Here, this is Enterprise battle against the unknown vessel. So this, again, this is from the TOS. So in that scene, it fired red photon torpedoes. I always thought it was white, bluish, but apparently it was red there. Now in Strange New Worlds, it was red, but we'll get to that when we get to the Donnie Prize. Now the second scene is this one right here. We're taking the inspiration. So as we can see, it's the famous twin blue phaser beams. Now, that is what we're going to be using for this build. Again, Captains, keep in mind, this is just for something fun, nothing to take serious. So, go back here, and we'll go over the build quickly. This is just meant for fun, Captains. Keep that in mind. I will say that until I'm blue in the face. So, here we go. The USS Enterprise. See what I did there? Now, I did use the Temporal Light Cruiser just because this was the actual first ship US that we got in game. So why not use her? Now, here we go. This is going to be a very quick build to go over. So what do we do with the 4 weapons? Well, this is what we did. Advanced Fleet Twin Phaser Beam Arrays. Mark 15 crit damage 4. Now, we got this from the K-13 Fleet Holding. I got a full set of 6, but purposes of this, and again, just taking inspiration from that, because even though we like the space pew-pews, again, we're just doing the builds a little differently and just taking inspiration from what we've seen, sometimes in just 1 individual or 2 individual scenes, just like what we showed. And of course, for Red Photon is what we're using. Advanced Fleet Photon Torpedo Launcher we just got from our Fleet Starbase. Rolled again to crit damage 4. So very simple. That's it. Now, a lot of Captains over the years have showed me their TOS build, quote, Canon builds, and sometimes this is it. Sometimes they never actually saw the original series Connie fire anything from the aft. Just saying. So we'll continue on here. So there's the 4 weapons, and that's it. Space set, we got the deflector, of course, the Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector from your Fleet Colony, your prevailing innovative impulse engines from your competitive rep, the Mycelia Harmonic Matter Antimatter Core, and Tilly's Review Pending Modified Shield. This is from, of course, your Discovery rep. Aft weapons, nothing. Devices, we got the Kobayashi Maru Transponder, Subspace Field Modulator, Subspace, my Filipino accent came out, Temporal Negotiator, and some Energy Candy for bonus 20% energy weapon damage for 20 seconds. For the consoles, we're just doing everything to boost up the damage / performance so that we can fuse through our enemies, because again, we only have these 2 weapons in the 4 to do so. But we also adjusted our difficulty level. And we'll go that in a bit here. So we got the Bioneural Infusion Circuits, Dynamic, which actually you can get from the Low-Buy store. The Dynamic Power Redistribute Module, of course, Captain, this is from the Atlas, the prototype Dreadnought, which you can get from your event campaign. Gives us 11.3 all damage resistance rating, 19% directed energy damage, And of course, all this bonus clicky goodness when you hit it to sell for 20 seconds plus 40% bonus damage. And then 100% bonus damage resistance rating and 500% hull regen. We are pairing it up with a point defense bombardment warhead, which is from any of the NXs. For the 25% projectile damage, the cute 1% critical chance, but of course the 2-piece gives us what? Plus 33% phaser damage for directed energy weapons, so that's going to help us too as well. Okay, the Domino. This is from your Bajoran Interceptor, which you can get from the Phoenix Prize Pack Epic Tier Reward for the plus 15% phaser damage, plus 20 AC. And then when you hit it for 10 seconds, 25% fire cycle haste for energy weapons, plus 25% bonus all damage, 25% recharge speed for bridge officer abilities, and 100% recharge speed for torpedo weapons. So this is going to help us. Now, if you defeat a foe while this is on, it adds 2 seconds to the duration of the effect. So that's awesome. We are going to use the Ordnance Accelerator, just because it actually does give both projectile and phaser damage 26.3%, so why not? This is from your Gamma Rep. We are going to use the M6 computer. This is from your Temporal Escort, which you can get from your shipyard for dilithium, and it's like the watered down version of the Domino. 15% bonus all damage for 15 seconds, 25% cooldown reduction for tactical officer abilities only, 20% fire cycle haste for all weapons, 15 seconds, and plus 30 AC and defense rating. So not bad. We're going to use the Approaching Agony for the plus 15% phaser damage and 1.5% critical chance. Now this I just got from the exchange. The Lorca's Custom Fire Controls, or the Lorcator. This of course comes from your Discovery Rep. The Ominous Device. This actually came with this ship, the Temporal Light Cruiser, and it's plus 20% all damage, so why not? And when you hit it there, it placates, negative damage resistance, minus defense, minus shield hardness, and all that goodness there. But again, we're just using this because it came with it. Why not? And then for our last 2 tactical consoles, the Vulnerability Locators Phaser for the 39.4% phaser damage and 2% critical chance. Now, what does that give us? Stat-wise, we are at 43.6% crit chance, and crit severity is 176.3%. Captains, keep in mind we do have our Pendivers ranked up all the way to 600, which is helping us. Okay, specializations, nothing crazy. Intelligence, primary. Temporal, secondary. Traits, nothing too different. Here we went with a good day to die, beam barrage, fragments of AI tech, self-modulating fire, superior beam training, adaptive offense, unconventional systems, Terran targeting systems, intelligent agent attaché, the Boimler effect. Starship traits. This is what we are going with. Supercharged weapons. Super weapon ingenuity. This is going to be our main damage dealer. Preferential targeting. Preferential, I should say, targeting. Hopefully I got that right. This is also going to boost our beam overload, overpowered and overgunned, and emergency weapon cycle. Now, captains, you'll notice I don't have that 6th trait unlocked. I just choose not to, because we're not taking this into any elite DPS chasing thing. This is just, again, a for fun build. Space Rep. Advanced targeting systems, magnified firepower, precision, tactical advantage, Tyler's duality, an active space, anti-time entanglement singularity, biomolecular shield generator, deploy sensor interface platform, quantum singularity manipulation, and refactoring Tetron cascade. Station-wise, this is what we ended up doing. Again, just because of what we saw there. So keep in mind our two main things there was for concentrate firepower 3, because when you use this, you fire 2 photons. And what did we see in that clip? 2 photons being fired. So I'm for that. So chemosite lace weaponry, attack pattern beta, of course, concentrate firepower 3, distributed targeting, cannon scatter volley, beam overload 3, and of course when we activate that, that's going to boost our beam overload, because yes, that is going to be our main damage dealer. Emergency power to engines, emit unstable warp bubble, emergency power to weapons 3, and recursive shearing 3. For our side stations here, we got tractor beam, scramble sensors, and photonic shockwave. Now por the DOPS, we have the 2 in-ground helping us in space. Neil Falconer, increased damage versus the Berg, and Elder Milkitan, increased damage versus all. Now this is what we did for our space DOFs, so we still have the emergency con hologram. And that'll recharge our evasive maneuvers when we hit emergency powered engines. We have energy weapons officers here. We got 3 of them. And they will give us a chance. So actually this one will give us a chance for beam overload to cause all attacks against the target to gain 30% shield pen. The other two, they give us a chance for crit chance and crit severity when we fire energy weapons. The last 2, we have 2 projectile weapons officer. They'll give us a chance to stack crit severity when we fire projectiles. So there you go, Captains. That is the build. That is what we got going on here. This is what my tribute is going to be to Star Trek Day, is just a theme build based on something we saw there that we showed at the beginning of this video. Now, we're only going to go into Elite Argala under Advance and see how this does. Okay? So again, just under Advance. Might take a while, but that's okay. Okay, we'll leave that and then go here for the patrols, Delta quadrants, and then let's hit Elite Argala. Oh, not Elite, Advanced Argala. See how it does. These captains really, for nightly pew-pews, we just really do Advance, and that's good enough for me, to be honest. And like I said, we're modeling this after the Talis ramen build that we did recently, but also kind of my tribute to Star Trek canon-wise. So here we go. Let's see how she does. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to stay still when we get into the target range here. Going to increase our performance as best we can. Good to know we're still taking down. There you go. See, there's the 2 photon torpedoes, and there's the first group. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna park her and shoot just like what we saw in that scene. And really, most of the scenes that I've seen with TOS Connie, she was just kind of stationary, really, due to the times. But we'll make it work for us here, Caps. Let's boost up everything we can. Take them down here. Reposition when we need to. That group. That shit was good. Doing the pews. There you go. Show the twin. Captains, if you heard that, type that below in the comments. Tween. Jeez. The Filipino accent is strong tonight, Captains. So is the pew-pews. Take the carrier out first. I mean, really, she's doing fine. Kind of reminds me of battles from Star Trek Starfleet Command. Captains, you know, we've played those old school games. And sometimes it wasn't all alpha strike, everything gone all at one strike. And that's okay. Take that out. Take these. Again, we can see the twin phases firing with the photon torpedoes. Love it. So that's the beam overload effect there. You see a shield pen doing its thing. Use our DPRM just to boost our damage, boost our performance. I mean, she's holding up, really. Like I said, for nightly pews, we're just under normal anyways. And that's kind of giving me the confidence to just kind of have fun with the build, you know? One more target here. Take off the HUD just cuz. See her firing there. Look at that. Last group already. Let's go. Let's fully buff up here, captains. Take out Kulla's flagship first, and then we'll concentrate on the other two. Use our energy candy. There's that. Now let's get rid of these ships here. Ooh, love the two photons there. Bam! Woo! Yes! All right. Yeah, let's go over here for our shelfies. Oh, excuse me, sir. Captains, if you don't know what that is, those are our ship selfies. Let's park over here. Get a nice little angle on that ship where it's good original goodness. Got a close-up shot of that. Maybe too close. Let's just do that. So there you go, captains. That is my sort of tribute to the original Connie for Star Trek Day. Now, like I'd mentioned before, every single day we're going to put out a video to give tribute to each of the ships. And again, we're starting with the original, with the OG, the NCC 1701. But I had to go 17001. See what I did there? The USS Enterprise. Again, captains, this is just something that we do for fun. These type of things keep me engaged in Star Trek Online and just kind of see what we can do in terms of the fun that we can have. And definitely this was fun. Again, I'm not the hugest fan. I've always said this in the videos, captains, of TOS, but I respect it. And without TOS, we would not have all the Trek that we have now. And I will say it again. Now is a great time to be a Star Trek fan, in my opinion. I'm here for all the Trek. I may not like some of the current ones, but that's okay. I will go and lean into the ones that I do like. But again, so this is going to be a start of the series of the videos that we will release every morning, starting with this one. So expect the next one will be whatever is beside this, and I believe it is actually the Galaxy. So we will use that. So captains, there you go. I hope you captains also just take the time to just reflect what sort of got you into Star Trek. And don't be afraid to comment below. Tell us why you love Star Trek. Tell us why you love Star Trek Online. Tell us how you pew-pews. And if you went back to your original Connie, what type of build you put on. So like the video, captain, subscribe to the YouTube bridge, and we'll leave it on this note.
Don't let them promote you. Don't let them transfer you. Don't let them do anything that takes you off the bridge of that ship, because while you're there, you can make a difference.